Hi guys, in this video today we're going to talk about the volley to the fence, which is one of the most effective volleys in paddle. Now there's two times that you normally would hit a ball so that you're going to get the fence involved. The first is if you're going to hit a drop shot, where the ball will bounce, it's soft, and then the second bounce will either be where the fence contacts the ground or around where the bottom of the fence is to force the player to either play after the fence or to make that split decision. And then the second time is when you might play aggressive down to the fence with a bit of slice, hoping that the fence is going to then react and force the ball down to make it very difficult for your opponent. So to begin with, the drop volley. When you play this shot and you're playing it towards the fence, more often than not, it's the shot that is down the centre of the court. So for example, if I'm on the backhand side, my forehand, I'll play that short volley down into that fence. I can play it with the backhand side, but it's slightly more risky because what that means is that it opens up the other parts of the court should my opponent get to the ball. But you can play it. And the good thing about playing this drop shot down to the fence is, unlike the drop shots in the centre of the court, you don't have to hit loads of spin on that ball. It can just be a short block, you give yourself a little bit more margin for error, the ball can come up a little bit higher so that when it bounces and it hits the fence, it's still effective. If you hit a drop volley in the middle of the court, as you see on the World Padel Tour, you have to hit a lot of backspin and bring that ball really low towards the net to get a good shot out of that. Otherwise, your opponents could probably quite easily get there.
At a good level, you also see this shot played when the person is moving forward. So for example, you'll see here he hits a Chiquita and then he's moving forward, and the good option is to play that angle to fence to buy yourself time.
The aggressive volley to fence is almost always played from the outside of the court. Opposite to the drop, it's when the ball comes on the outside of the court and you're going to be aggressive and change direction, so you're going to play angle down to that fence. And the reason for that is that you're able to come around the outside of the ball and find an angle with less margin for error. If I was trying to find an angle from this side going away from my body, I end up hitting the ball quite flat. And what that means is, firstly, I haven't got a big space to aim for, and secondly, often the ball will bounce down and have a higher trajectory. So, if I'm on the backhand side, often I'll change with a backhand slice, aggressive into that fence, and if I'm on the forehand, then obviously I'll do it with the forehand side into the side of the fence. Now you want to play this on a relatively easy or neutral ball. You don't want to play this on a difficult ball, because what that means is you've changed direction, and if it's not a good shot, then your opponent has a big space down the middle and your partner has a lot of court to defend.
The volley to fence is not usually played immediately in the point because you need to create the angle to give yourself space to hit that shot to the fence. So often it's not played at the beginning, but the point has worked itself out, they force the opponents back and then they hit the angle to the fence, and it's not a really fast aggressive angle, it's just played accurately when there's space.
One thing to be aware of is that if you do hit the ball down to the fence, most of the time it will put your opponent under pressure. But there will be times where the ball will pop up and they will have an easier ball. So what that means is, firstly, you want to be very selective on your shot and make sure it's a good shot that you're going for. But secondly, you want to make sure that you and your partner are in a good position for that next ball.
Again, the point needs to develop, so the players, they're working their way back, they're forcing the opponents to the back glass, and then they get that opportunity for the angle volley. And again, it's not a hugely risky angle volley, it's just down, so the second bounce is by the fence, and we get in a good position so that we're covering those angles, and even a good shot we can get to. Then the point unfolds and we can maintain that net position.